What is good, guys? Lex Tech Tips here. Today we're going to be showing you how to replace the CPU on a Dell Inspiron 2200. So first we're going to start, make sure your laptop lid is closed, flip your laptop upside down, take the battery out. It's hard to do with one hand. Just pull this latch back and then slide this out. You got your battery. And put that off to the side. Now you're going to need a screwdriver. This should work. It's just a Parts Express screwdriver, flathead, with a, I think that's a PH0 something. Well, anyways, you're now gonna want to get over to this side. And you can see there's two clips right here, one there and one there. You're going to want to put your screwdriver head in there. Alright, here, I'm gonna open it, just make it a little easier. You're going to want to pry till you hear it pop. And now you're going to want to put the screen all the way back. And now you can see, if you see right there where how you can get that up, you're going to want to either use a screwdriver or your fingers to pop the rest of that panel off. It usually pops off a little harder than that. So now that this is off, just be gentle with it. You're going to want to take the keyboard out. This you can just pick up by the top. And be careful, don't pick it up. Just slide it gently out. There's a ribbon cable, you can see, attaching this. So you're going to want to take your screwdriver or pliers, or not pliers, tweezers, which I'm going to grab my tweezers. These are the tweezers I use. They're little cheap black ones. They work. You're going to want to see that black tab. And now it's up. See the blue thing? Gently lift a little and then pull it out, and boom, your keyboard is now released. Set that off to the side next to your battery. Next, you're going to want to take out this screw. This is it's a ground screw, I think, of some sort, but it's captive, so you don't have to worry about losing it. And you're going to want to set that there, and then you're going to want to take out 1, 2, 3, 4 screws right there, and that will get you to your heatsink. So now, after you've removed the screws, you're going to want to keep them somewhere safe. I keep them on a magnet. It's a little extendable magnet, and set them off to the side, somewhere where they won't get knocked off or knocked over. Now you're going to want to take this panel, see it kind of pivots up like that, and pull it outwards. Now, you can see that we have our heatsink, and then another heatsink. This is for your chipset and the GPU. They're combined into one thing. This is your Wi-Fi card. Not all models have this. This is your modem card. Every model will have this. This is so you can use a phone line to connect to the internet. And then, so right here, this is your fan connector. You're going to want to get that. Be gentle with it. Remember, small wires are easy to break, so you can use a pair of tweezers. And get it out like that, and see, now it is got outed. And so now what you're going to want to do is, every one of these screws, how you want to undo them is you want to do a little bit on this one, so it turns a little bit, and then you want to do on the one on this side, and then you're going to want to turn it a little bit, and then the one on this, you're going to want to turn that a little bit, and then on this, you're going to want to turn it a little bit, and you want to keep doing it like that until it's loose. The reason you do it like this is because the die on the CPU is exposed, meaning that if you put too much force, like sideways, it's going to chip or crack it, So you want to minimize any damage by unscrewing it like this. And after it's unscrewed, these are captive, by the way, so you don't have to worry about losing them. Okay, this is unscrewed now. You're going to want to pick it up like this. It will pivot back, see? And then you're going to want to lift it out, and boom, that is your heatsink. If it's dusty, I cleaned mine the other day. It's dusty, you'll want to clean it with like a toothbrush, air duster, or a paintbrush. So now here is your CPU. This is the thing you're going to want to upgrade. So you're going to want to grab your screwdriver, and you can see this little thing right here? Focus, come on. Hello? Well, that is your retention mechanism. This is what holds the CPU in place. So you're going to want to twist that this way, and you'll feel it move a little. And now you can... Hello? You should be able to pick the CPU up. Mine's pretty stuck in there. I'm gonna... Hello? Oh, mine's really stuck in there. Oh, there we go. Twisted all the way this time. And there we go. There's your CPU. And there's your socket. So set your CPU off to the side somewhere safe, preferably next to your battery and keyboard and the metal thing. And you're going to want to grab your new CPU. Your new CPU isn't always going to be in packaging like this, but it will probably be similar. You want to grab your CPU chip. See, check if there's any bent pins or any gross stuff on the pins. Mine looks good. So I'm going to set it in there. Making sure. See, on the bottom you're missing 2 pins right here, and then see there's 2 pin holes that are covered right there. So you're going to want to just set your CPU down to match with that. It should go in with no force. And now look around the edge of the socket, make sure it's seated, and then you're going to want to twist your retention mechanism the other way until it locks, and that is your new CPU installed. Next step is to grab a piece of paper towel, and now this is important. You grab a piece of paper towel, some isopropyl alcohol, preferably 70% or higher, 90% is the best. And you're going to want to squirt it onto your paper towel. After you've done that, it doesn't need to be a large amount, it just needs to be a normal amount. You're going to want to wipe down the core, or the die, till it's clean. It might have fingerprints, oil, old thermal compound residue, whatever. Doesn't matter. You want it to be clean. Next, you're going to want to go to your heatsink with the same thing if it's still clean. If it's not, get another one. And you're going to want to wipe off the old thermal compound. It might get a little messy, especially if it's newer, if you've already replaced it maybe, like I have. These models originally shipped with like a metal shim pad thing, which it works, but I wouldn't recommend continuing using it. Just use normal thermal paste. It's going to be better. Would be the best PTM, but I don't have any on hand right now. So, just going to use regular old thermal compound. Make sure your copper, this is the copper part. This is what you want to be as clean as possible. These 2 marks on the side, that doesn't matter because it doesn't make contact with the CPU there. So they can be dirty. But you want this to be as clean as possible. And once it's clean, that looks good to me, you're going to want to grab your new thermal. Okay, this is my go-to thermal paste. This is Thermalright TF7. This is good stuff. It's cheap. It works. I've never had issues with it. I've used it on GPUs, CPUs. It's going to go on this. I've used it on laptops. It performs incredibly well on my MacBooks. And, yeah, you can use really any decent quality thermal paste. My favorite is definitely the TF7 for normal paste. That TF9, TFX is also good. Another good one is Noctua and TH1. I'd say Arctic MX4 or MX6, I've had problems with them, especially with them separating over time and performing horribly. But they seem to work, just as based off the batch, I guess. But yeah, this is what I'm using, Thermalright TF7. This is what I had closest to me. This is what I like to use. So yeah. So next, now that you're... There's a little dust on it. Make sure there's no dust on your CPU. It needs to be dust free. Any little bit of dust is going to make a little like dent or whatever, and it's going to perform badly. So you're going to want to squeeze out a little bit the thermal paste. Come on. This stuff is really thick, so it's hard to squeeze out. You're going to want to put a little blob. God damn it. It does not want to go. This is how much you want. You want it to be a little line. And some people might say, oh, why'd you use so much? And when you're on an exposed die like this, you want to use more thermal paste than you think you need. Because, well, number one, you need to make sure the whole die is covered. And number two, it'll just squeeze out the edges. It's not going to cause any problems. So, now you're going to want to reinstall your CPU. Cooler? Heatsink assembly. Whatever. And see how I just slid it in the same way I took it out? Now, it is going to drop down. See? It's in there now. I'm going to plug the fan back in. Like so, and then I'm going to start screwing down. With my screwdriver, I'm going to start on 2, and then I'm going to go to 1. I'm going to go to 3. Hey, it's not... Okay, there we go. I'm going to go to 4. Now I'm going to make sure 4 is completely tight. After you get these about halfway in, you shouldn't really have to worry about it chipping or cracking. So it's definitely much safer going on than it is taking it off. Because you're putting the pressure on as opposed to taking it off. No, it might not sound that different, but it's way easier to crack it when you're taking it off. So... Now that that is installed, you are now good to go, and you're going to want to put your metal shielding back on. See that? Come on. This is really annoying to do with one hand. Come on. There you go. Metal shielding's back on. Make sure the screw is over the shielding. You don't want it under the shielding. It needs to be over. Remember that. So now you're going to want to screw this screw in. And then you're going to want to put your 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that you kept somewhere safe. They are these. It says on them they're M2.5 by 5. So they're 2.5 wide and 5 long. Now that you have your metal shielding installed, you're going to want to put your keyboard back on. Remember, don't lose this. This is your keyboard. This is the only way you can type text on this. I mean, you could plug in a USB keyboard, but you have to scare people into not losing this stuff. Make sure you flip up that black flap. If it flipped down, it shouldn't have, but if it did, you need to flip it back up. Now you're going to want to grab your keyboard. I'm going to set mine like this. I'm going to grab the ribbon cable, be gentle with it. You can damage these very easily. And I'm just going to slide it in there. Remember, you have to slide it under the thing of pins. So I think that is good. I'm going to check with my tweezers, make sure it's fully seated. Yep, it is, and I'm going to flip the flap down. The flap, it should be hard to push down. That means that the connector is actually seated in there. If there's no resistance at all, that means you didn't, either isn't in there right, or your connector is damaged, whatever. Now that your keyboard's on, you're going to want to put your cover back on. Remember, took this off, this is the first step. So now, once you put that back on, make sure you latch the latches under the keyboard, like right here, you'll see those latch under. Hello, what are you doing? There we go. You're going to want to press down hard, across the whole thing. Not like hard to break it, but hard enough to pop in any of those little plastic claps, or plastic clips, not claps. So now that that is installed, you are done. Let's see if it boots. Okay, now you're going to want to reinsert your battery. It should click like that when you reinsert it. That means it locks. Plug in the power cable, and it's plugged in. Press the power button. If you're lucky, it should boot up. I'm going to press F2. Where is it? There you go. There you go. See, Pentium M, 1.6 gigahertz. I was originally had a Celeron M at 1.4 gigahertz. The difference between the Celerons and the Pentiums is the Pentiums have double the cache of the Celerons. So the Celeron has 1 megabyte, Pentium has 2. They're also clocked higher, and that's pretty much the only difference. This laptop only accepts a Pentium or Celeron M with a 400 megahertz front side bus. So that means that most will work up to, I think the fastest was a 2.2 or 2 gigahertz Pentium M. But most, if not all, Celerons should work, because most of them were 400 megahertz, but whatever, you're done now. So you can, after you're done looking at all your stuff, exit setup and let it boot. And you should boot into whatever you installed. I have Debian and Windows XP. And see, now you're booting. So congratulations if you've done this, if you upgraded the CPU in your laptop. Good work. I am out.